Hey there, future millionaires! Welcome back to the channel. I'm so excited you're here with me today. No matter where you are in this amazing world of ours, I hope you're having an absolutely fantastic day. So let's dive right into what everyone's talking about, XRP. Looking at our one-day chart here, we're sitting pretty at $2.51. And guess what? The entire market is starting to bounce back beautifully. Now, here's something I've noticed over the years. After every major crash, we usually see this incredible reversal pattern, and I have a strong... Now looking at Bitcoin, wow, we're almost back to that sweet $114,000 mark. You know what? I'm just ready for this breakout to finally kick into high gear. I know, I can feel your frustration because I'm feeling it too. Listen, I totally get it. Most of us are feeling pretty beaten down right now. It's like every single time we think crypto is turning the corner and things are looking up, bam! Something comes out of nowhere and drags the whole market back down. It's exhausting, right? And can we talk about all those people who are now claiming they called this dip? Come on, they got lucky, plain and simple. Here's the thing. If you predict a crash every single week, guess what's eventually going to happen? You're going to be right one time. It's like throwing darts blindfolded. Eventually one's going to hit the bullseye. If you keep screaming, the sky is falling week after week, month after month, eventually the market will have a bad day, and then you get to say, "See? I told you so." But that's not skill, that's just playing the odds. But here's what I want you to remember. What we just witnessed was literally the biggest crash in all of cryptocurrency history. And you know what? You survived it. You made it through. That's actually pretty incredible when you think about it. And I'm going to dive deeper into all of this as we go through today's video. And just like I predicted, Trump completely shifted his approach. He came out and said, White House official Greer says financial markets will calm. And it gets even better. Vice President J.D. Vance just announced that President Trump is totally open to having reasonable negotiations about those tariffs with China. You know what? They absolutely knew they were going to flip this entire narrative heading into this week. It was all part of the plan. But here's the kicker, and I've got to remind you about this. We're heading into a holiday weekend, which means the stock market won't even reopen until Tuesday. So guess what that means for us crypto folks? We're probably going to see this pump happen in the crypto markets way before the stock market even gets a chance to react. This could be our advantage right here. Rich Dad Poor Dad author's crash prediction comes true. Okay. Can we talk about this for a second? How many times has this guy been screaming, "The crash is coming! Get into gold! Get into silver! Buy Bitcoin! The crash is almost here!" And you know what? Finally, after saying it a million times, the crash actually happened. But come on. If you predict the same thing over and over and over again, eventually you're going to hit the jackpot, right? It's literally the same thing with people who call for breakouts every single week. This is it! This is the week we moon! Of course, eventually one of those weeks is actually going to be the week. Here's the truth. Nobody can call this market with 100% accuracy. Sometimes people get lucky, and sometimes their predictions come pretty close to reality. But perfect timing? That's just not happening. Now, here's where I think everyone's making a huge mistake. I still believe people are massively underestimating XRP in this cycle. I'm talking way higher than what most people are thinking right now. The conservative crowd has finally started pushing their targets up from that old 7 to 9 range, and now they're saying 10 to 13. But you know what I think? We're going so much higher than that. Even the super bullish people are still selling XRP short because they think we're already halfway up that massive green candle we saw back in 2017. But what if we're not? What if we're just getting started? I don't think we're quite there yet. XRP price prediction. XRP hasn't bottomed until Bitcoin stabilizes by... And I totally agree with that perspective. Right now, we're still dancing to Bitcoin's tune. When Bitcoin crashes, we all crash with it. When Bitcoin pumps, we pump too. It's like we're all tied together with invisible strings. But here's what I'm really excited about. Eventually, we're going to break free from Bitcoin's grip. And you know what's going to make that happen? Utility. Real, actual use cases. Once we get proper regulations in place and these utility-driven cryptocurrencies start showing their true value, we won't be following Bitcoin around like lost puppies anymore. We'll be running on our own steam. And here's the thing about what we're holding. XRP runs on genuine value. There's no smoke and mirrors here, no artificial propping up happening behind the scenes. Think about it. Tether isn't printing billions of dollars and pumping it into XRP to inflate the price. But guess what they are doing? They're minting Tether and pouring it straight into Bitcoin to keep that price artificially high. That's exactly why I believe XRP will eventually steal that #1 spot away from Bitcoin. We're not running on hyper market manipulation. We're running on real utility and actual tangible value. And when the dust settles, that's what's going to... Legendary trader Peter Brandt issues bullish verdict on Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum, and XLM. And of course, this is the same guy who was screaming about a major crash coming just last week. Now he's like, see, I told patience and wait. So when you look at this chart right, he's saying that we've seen this back. So check this out. Here's that massive crash we had back then, right before the epic breakout happened. Now, everyone's trying to figure out exactly where we are. Okay, here's a really interesting observation about XRP, and you see it right here is when that happened, and then this happened. So if that same pattern plays out again, and there's a real chance it might, we could be looking at some absolutely insane numbers for XRP. We just have to sit back and see what unfolds next. Now look, I don't want to sit here and promise you that we're definitely hitting these exact price targets. That's not what I'm about. But what I am saying is there's a genuine possibility we could see 3 digits. And here's what I'm really confident about. I absolutely believe we're going to smash through $50, and that's just from the ETF money flows alone. Think about all that institutional capital that's going to come flooding in once those approvals happen. The potential here is pretty incredible when you really think about it. And honestly, I think everyone's massively undervaluing just how big those ETF inflows are going to be. You know what? It's really not surprising to me that crypto followed the exact same pattern we've seen before. Here's something I've noticed. Before every single parabolic explosion, there's always this crazy, heart-stopping dip. We saw it happen in 2020 leading into 2021, and now here we are again in 2025. Sometimes history just repeats itself perfectly, and maybe that's exactly what we're about to witness. But listen, I've got to keep it real with you. There's always a chance we could see another dip too. That's just the nature of this wild market. I always tell people, prepare for the worst, but expect the best. That's my crypto philosophy right there. And you know what? When I make these videos, I choose to be optimistic because I genuinely want to be. I want to give you the positivity and confidence you need to make it to that finish line. The last thing I want is for any of you to panic and sell way too early, right before the really big moves happen. We've come this far together. Let's see this thing through. I want to get rich with all of you, and Fed rate cut chances just jumped to 98.3% amid the market crash relief rally. Next. And again, this also is a good reason for the Fed to cut rates later this month. And if he decides to cut those interest rates, oh man, that's going to send this market absolutely flying. But you know what? When you look at XRP right now, you can already see the early signs of this rebound starting to happen. You're seeing it with Bitcoin too, and pretty much every other cryptocurrency out there. I really think this momentum is going to keep building because those tariff talks completely flipped the narrative again, and that's super bullish for us. The market's going to correct upward because of this shift, and as XRP holders, we have so much to get excited about. There are still tons of major catalysts just sitting on the sidelines waiting for their moment to shine. And here's the beautiful thing. As each one of these catalysts starts playing out for our favorite cryptocurrency, it's just going to prove over and over again that we're heading higher. But until all of this unfolds, here's what I need from you. Stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. That's the plan, right? All right, everyone, that's going to wrap up today's video. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching. You guys are absolutely amazing, and I appreciate you more than you know. I'll catch you in the next one, and until then, have an incredible night.